Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how to get started with Android widgets using Jetpack glance. So let's get started. Just don't get confused. Just because it is named Jetpack glance doesn't mean you can't use it inside an Android views project. So suppose if you have created a project using empty views, you can still use Jetpack glance, but you will have to add all those Jetpack compose dependencies as well, which is little bit tedious. That's why I'm using directly creating a Jetpack compose project. I'll just click on next, and here you can name it whatever you feel like. I will just name it as my Android app, and I'll just click on finish. Now let it do the Gradle syncing, and once this should be pretty quick. Also, in the meantime, I want to tell you that I have created one sample project as well. Before recording this video, I will be copying a lot of code from this particular sample project which I have created, but I will explain it to you as much as I can, so don't worry too much about it. Let's go back to Android Studio. Okay, so it has created the project for me. Now first what I will have to do is I will have to go to build.gradle, and here you will have to check the compile HDK. So the compile HDK should be at least 35. Okay, so I have updated that, and here I can just right click, override warning. I know what I'm doing. Okay, so just if Android Studio directly makes it 35, then you don't have to do it manually. Then we just have to scroll down, and here we will have to add few dependencies known as Jetpack glance. So I'll just go to my practice project, go to app, build.gradle. We'll just copy all this. Okay, and I'll paste it over here. I'm not sure if you require this preview thing, app widget preview. Like if you want it to be previewed inside Android Studio, then you can use it. I don't really need this, so I'll just comment this out, and I'll just click on sync now, because I have noticed that whenever I try to preview something inside Android Studio, it takes a lot of time, and I think directly running it inside a real iOS device would be much more faster for me at least. So I have added these two dependencies. Then we'll go to Android manifest.xml, and here we will have to add some code after our activity. So again, I'll go to my practice project, Android manifest.xml, just copy this. Okay, and I'll paste it over here. So first we'll have to create this app widget receiver as well as this app widget info as well. Okay, so first let's have a look at this app widget receiver. So first you can just go to your Kotlin plus Java. If you want, you can create a package over here. I don't want to give it because this is a very simple project for me. I'll just click on new Kotlin file and name it as my app widget receiver. Okay, now this has to follow a certain format. Okay, sorry, coming back to over here. So here we are just giving some name. Okay, Kotlin file name, exported is true. This is the intent filter which we need to use, app widget update, and we also have to use this metadata XML my app widget info, which I will come back later on. Now coming back to the app widget receiver. So firstly, again, I will just come over here and copy some code, and then I'll explain it to you. I'll paste it over here. So here is our my app widget receiver. It has to extend from glance app widget receiver, and we will override this particular method called glance app widget, and this takes a Jetpack compose view. So for that I will create a separate Kotlin file. So I'll just, if you want, you can create it over here as well. But yeah, I like to create separate files, so I'll just create another file called class my widget. Now this has to be a Jetpack compose widget. So again, I'll just copy some code and then I'll explain it to you. Okay, I'll copy it and I'll paste it over here. Okay, now so firstly your widget should extend from glance app widget. Okay, so I'll add that particular import. Now be extremely careful. There are two different imports. There are two different imports. One is Jetpack compose import, second is glance import. Don't mix and match, otherwise you will face error. I think this is done badly from Android side. I wish there was some error on the compile side itself telling that you are using Jetpack compose imports on glance widgets and vice versa. So be extremely careful. Whatever imports I am using, use that. Here size mode I have kept it as exact. Okay, this is also from glance. Then we have to override this particular method provide glance, which is from glance app widget. I'll come back to this error UI layout later on. Then I'll just import context. I'll also import glance ID. So these are all the imports. Then this method needs this provide content function, so I'll just import that function as well. Then it requires this glance theme. Okay, so I've added that particular import as well. Everything is from glance apart from context. Then this local size is not really necessary. I'm just showing you how you can get the size as well, because it's very easy that the user will play around with the size of your widget. So depending on the different widget size, you might change your UI accordingly. That's why I'm just showing you how you can get the local size as well. So local size is also from glance. Then box modifier, so sorry, box widget. Here if I click on import function, here you can see now there are two things. I always have to import the glance one. So I'll import the glance one. Then here you can't directly use modifier just like you use in Jetpack compose. You have to use glance modifier. And then again background also we have to import it from glance. Color also I will import it from, yeah, this is fine, compose UI graphic, this is fine. Okay, and then the padding also is 30, and this also I can import directly. Then text, I think again we have to import it from glance, and this is the text style which I will import from glance as well. I'll just add this. Okay, color provider, again this is from glance. Then the SP, font weight. So I'm not really doing anything interesting inside the widget. I'm just displaying a text element called hello widgets, and whatever is the size I'm displaying that. You can do whatever you feel like. And here I'm using this clickable. Now this thing is not working for me. I don't know why. What I was trying to do is whenever the user clicks on the text element, I want to start the activity, main activity. This is not really working for me, but again I'll just import it. Okay, wait just a second. I think there are two actions. Maybe I was using the wrong actions previously. I think I'll try this one. Okay, I will show you the imports, and this is the error one which I will come back later on. Now triple check your imports, make sure everything is from glance except for the first few imports. Everything should be from glance, like androidx.glance. If you are importing something from compose, Jetpack compose foundation, then you will face errors, trust me on that, and you will like scratch your head wondering why this is not working for me. So be extremely careful with this. Okay, so this is done. Now again if I go back to my Android manifest, we require this XML thing, right? So now here there is one tricky part to this as well. We will have to create 3 separate files for this my app widget info. So what I'll do, I'll just go to main. Okay, res. So we'll have to create these 2 folders first, because XML folder is already there for us. Where did it go? Res, here you can see XML folder is already there. So what I'll do, I'll go back to my project app, src main res, and here I will create 2 separate folders, XML -v28 and XML -v31, because there are some properties which are only accessible from Android XML version Android version 31 SDK version I mean, and some are not accessible from below 30 version. That's why we have to do this. Okay, so I'll just go to my project. Here I will just right click folder XML-v28. okay, I hope I have written it correctly. Yeah, and XML-v31, and I will just right click XML-v30. You could have created this from Android Studio as well, but here is the problem with Android Studio. Here you can see it is still not showing my folder. So for that I think we'll have to go to project drop down, go to app, src, main, res, and now it is showing all the folders. So firstly we'll have to create this particular xml file in all these folders. So right click, new xml resource, I'll name it as this, click ok. Then I'll create the same file in v28 as well, and same in v31 as well. Now I will just copy some code. This I'll copy, go to the code format. First you will have to go to the xml folder, my app widget info, and I'll just paste everything over here. So basically we have to use this app widget provider. Then we have to provide the resize mode, how like what should be the duration your widget should get updated. In our case it is just static text, so it doesn't really matter. What should be the mean height, mean width, mean resize height, mean resize width, and initial layout as well. So this initial layout comes from the Jetpack compose preview, the library build.gradle library which we have added. So this is automatically created for us, we don't have to worry too much about it. Now I will come over here, I'll just copy it for v28 version, come over here, and I'll go to code again and I'll paste it over here. Again it is same, more or less the same all properties, but here we are using this widget features as well, which you can just copy paste. Again I'm not really sure why we are adding this, but yeah, I'm just because it was in the documentation I have added it. And lastly for this v31, I'll copy it, I'll go to v31 and I'll just paste it over here. And here you can see for this we also get the max resize height, max resize width as well, target cell width, target cell height as well. That's why these all properties are not present below 30 hdk 30. That's why we have to create this. So this is created, and hopefully this is done as well. Now what I'll do, I'll quickly run my application and show you guys the output. I'll just run this. Hopefully now I will get some errors. I wanted to show that to you as well. One I think is related to the Kotlin version, and the other one is related to the build.gradle version, I guess. So here I will have to change it to 15. Wait, let me just show it to you, then I think you guys will understand it much better. In the meanwhile I'll just switch back to the Android drop down just so that it is much better to understand. I will open this build.gradle.kts file, and here we will get an error. This should be at least 1.5. Oh, it worked. Okay, but I don't recommend this. I think it's better we update it, because in the documentation they updated it, so it should be 1.5.15 at least. Okay, if it is already higher for you, then don't worry about it. And this particular version requires us to update our Kotlin version as well. So I'll go to libs.versions.toml and I'll update Kotlin version to 1.9.25. this also I will update. This is not really necessary, but yeah, I don't like using old things. Okay, then I'll rerun my application, and hopefully there should not be any error now. I will just remove all this just so that I can show you guys the output. It is still building, sorry about that. I'll close other tabs. Okay, anytime now. I don't know why this is taking so much time. Okay, let me just, okay, finally. Yeah, thank god. I was just going to pause it. Okay, so here is my basic application. Okay, nothing special about this. Now what I will do, typically whenever you want to add widgets, is you have to go to your application. So I'm trying to mirror my device, that's why the output is little bit laggy. Don't worry about it. When you try it in your real device, it won't be laggy. Just long press on your application, and here you will see something like this. Oh, sorry. I'll just long press on it and just click on click on widgets. So once you click on widgets, here it shows this. I don't know how to get rid of this 4 into 5. I don't know what this is, but just click on that and it will show you this add one. I'll click on add, and here you can see first it displays the progress bar and then it actually displays our widget. So this was our widget, right? Hello widgets, whatever is the size of the widgets. So the progress bar which you saw was from that thing. If I go to XML, here you can see this glance default loading layout. It was because of that. Now I want to show you how to display an error widget as well. This is very important because I'm pretty sure even I did the mistake. I by mistakenly imported the output from foundation, compose foundation, instead of Jetpack glance. So I'll give you a quick example. So suppose I have this box one, right? I'll just comment this out and I'll import it from, you don't have to do this. If you want to follow, you can just follow along. I will import it from the compose foundation, and then I'll just comment this out, and by mistakenly I use something like this. Okay, then this modifier is from compose foundation, right? So I'll just import that. Then I also have to import the background one, also have to import padding as well. See, there is no error, but this is actually wrong. I can't have this compose foundation dependencies imports inside my widget code. Now I will just add this error UI layout. So if you want to display, so suppose if your widget is extremely complex, in case if there is something going wrong, so suppose if you're fetching data from a network call, and in case in case that fails, you want to display an error, right? So I will just create this layout file. So for that you just have to go to res, right click, new, Android resource directory, search for layout, click OK, then click on layout, right click, new, layout resource file, enter the name of the file which we have written. So that was the name, right? Custom error layout. And here you can give whatever layout you want. Now this is old XML views. I don't know why they have done something like this. I wish they could have done given this with Jetpack Compose as well, but I don't know, maybe there is some issue. So here I am just displaying a text view. Okay, sorry, just add wrap content, and here I will just give some text. Text, something went wrong. I will also give an ID, because later on I will tell you how you can get this like change this particular text as well. So I will just give text view for now. Okay, and here I will just give one background color as well. Background Android color hollow red dark. Let me just see it. Yeah, so this seems background color. Okay, so let me just change the color as well. Text color Android color, I don't know, white I guess. Yeah, so something like this, pretty simple. Okay, now here I'm importing the wrong imports, right? So now if what I'll do again, I'll just go to my running device. I will just remove this particular widget. Okay, this has been removed, and I will just rerun my application. This will happen to you many a times. I wish at least they should have given some compile time error in case if we are importing some wrong dependencies. But yeah, unfortunately we can't really do anything about this. So I have just rerun my application. Let's just wait. Okay, so I don't know why this is not working. Just click on plus again and hopefully you should so here is our output. Now again I'll do the same thing. I'll long press on my app, I'll go to widgets, and here is our widget. I'll click on add, and here you can see it is now giving something went wrong. The reason is because we imported the wrong imports for our glance code. There is another way as well. So suppose I want to customize the error message in case if you are getting something wrong from your network API call or some data is wrong. So you can just comment this out and you can import this particular thing, override this particular method, and here you will have to import this remote views. And here as you can see I'm referencing to the same layout file which we had created over here. You just have to pass the tech ID correctly. So my ID is text view, that's what I am passing it over here. And here as you can see I'm setting the text. Now something went wrong in the widget. If you want I will just comment this out. Okay, this is giving me an error. I'll just remove it completely. Okay, I'll come over here, and here I will also have to update this app widget manager. So this app widget manager you have to import. Also make sure you import this remote views as well. What I'll do is again I'll just remove the older widget which I had, and I'll just rerun my application. And after this, the last thing which I will show you is how to create a widget automatically from your app once a button has been clicked, because finding for a user to find a widget is a little bit difficult. Like even I have never used a widget for any of my Android apps, but yeah, if you have a button telling the user that okay, add a widget for this particular app, then we can do that on a button press as well. Again, this is acting up. I'll just remove this. I'll click on the plus button. So again, here is my app. I'll just dismiss it. I'll go back to my app. I'll long press on it, click on widgets, and here I'll just click on it. I'll click on add, and here you can see now it is telling me something went wrong in the widget. So hopefully you got the point. Now what I'll do is I'll remove this modifiers imports which I had from foundation, because I want the proper widget now. Okay, and I'll just comment this part out, and I'll comment this, and I'll add this particular import as well, and make sure you import it from glance. Okay, so in case if you are confused, these are all the imports which I have. I'll just remove this, and I'll remove this as well. So these are all the imports which I have now. Now I will try it, before I rerun my application we need to add some code as well. So I'll because now I want to add the widget automatically on a button click or on a text, on text click. So here you can see by default you see something like this inside your main activity, right? This is the actual view which you see once you open your app. This might change in the future, so don't worry too much about it. Wherever you have a button, you just need to add this particular code. So I'll just copy the code again. So firstly I have this context. Now again this context tripped me up. This context is available in glance as well. Now we don't want glance. We are inside the main activity, which is the actual UI of our app. We need to import it from the foundation. So if I do something like this, if I just import, here you can see there are two imports. Make sure you import the compose.ui.platform one, otherwise again you will get a lot of error. And I will just add one modifier to this particular text element of clickable. If you want, you can create your own button as well. I don't want to do that. So here you can see again I'll just add all the import. Again make sure you add all this from compose foundation. This is app widget manager, component name, pending intent and intent. Okay, so basically on click of the button, now this is only available from Android O and above, so I'm just checking that. And here you can see I'm displaying this app widget manager.get instance by passing this context. Then I create our component name by passing this my app widget receiver, which we had created. If you remember this my app widget receiver Kotlin file. And then I just check if app widget manager dot is request pin app widget supported, and then we just create this success callback. Okay, and then we just have to pass the success callback over here to request pin app widget, passing our provider as well. Now just to quickly show you all the imports which I have. So these are all the imports. Make sure you add all your imports. Don't copy this import of mine because this is related to my own package name, otherwise you will get error. Okay, now again I'll go back to running device. I'll just remove this error widget which I had. I'll just rerun my application. And also let us try that this particular thing as well. I didn't check whether on clicking of that text modifier text whether we are able to open our app or not. So here is my app. I'll click on it, and here you can see it is telling me to add this particular widget. Again, I'm not really sure how to modify this. Maybe in the future I will figure it out and I'll make a video about it. In case if you know, do let me know in the comments. Then I'll click on add, and here you can see my Android app widget added to home screen, and here you can see this is widget has been added. Now what I'll do, I'll try to click on this. Okay, it is not opening for me. I don't know why. I'm trying to click on it, but this is not opening my app, so this is not really working for me. I don't know why. If you know why this is not working, do let me know in the comments. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.